So I'm watching Piers Morgan last night, and I know as a pro-gun guy, Second Amendment guy, it's kind of hard to believe. I find him very infuriating, and just for the sake of my own blood pressure and not throwing a shoe through the TV, I try to avoid watching his show. But he was going to be in Houston, Texas at a local gun shop yesterday, doing an interview with several people that I was really curious to see what they had to say, especially in response to Piers Morgan's anti-gun argument. So I went ahead and tuned in. Now, all in all, I was really happy with what I saw. He talked to Texas State Attorney General Greg Abbott. He talked to Ted Nugent. He talked to the owner and the guy who runs the gun shop where he was doing the interviews at. He talked to one of our state senators. And all in all, everybody came across very well spoken. They put forth a good pro-gun argument. Maybe not everything I would have liked to have seen, but nothing that hurt the pro-gun argument. Nobody said anything stupid that would have come across bad. And so all in all, I was really pleased with it. But there was one particular question that Piers Morgan kept asking pretty much everybody that he interviewed that I was really expecting one particular response from at least one of these people that never came along. Now, the first question he would ask is, do you believe in universal background checks? And of course everyone would say no. But then he would ask, why not? And this is where I was looking for a particular response to this question that I never got. Most people were saying, well, it's a private sale between two individuals within state lines. It shouldn't be infringed upon or regulated by the federal government. I should be able to sell private property to my friend. Pretty much all things that we all agree on. I think if we're pro-gun, we know this. And things that I 100% go along with. I absolutely agree. I don't think I should have to go to a federally licensed, mandated, regulated business and pay them for the privilege of having to transfer or sell a piece of private property or to buy a piece of private property from somebody else as long as it doesn't cross state lines. It's simply not in the federal government's jurisdiction. It's a state level issue. So I absolutely agree with that. But as we all know, that's not an argument that's going to go over well with people who are watching Piers Morgan, his particular audience. It's not something that's even going to get them to think twice about if universal background checks actually do anything and what it is that they do. So here's the answer I was actually looking for. Universal background checks don't stop future crimes from happening. Period. Right now everybody's worried about mass shootings, but if you look at all the mass shootings that have taken place, if you look at the people that committed these crimes, they were all people that could go out and buy a firearm legally from an FFL dealer. In fact, most of them did. And the few that didn't do so because they couldn't pass a background check. They did so because they were just too impatient to wait, so they went and stole the guns instead. These are all people that had no history of mental illness, at least not reported, and no criminal backgrounds. The two things that the background check checks for. So how is imposing universal background checks on all sales, even private transactions, an area where the federal government has no jurisdiction, going to stop future crimes from happening? Because even Piers Morgan said when the response was, I should be able to sell to my friend or buy from my friend, even Piers Morgan said, well, what about if your friend that you sell to now 5 years down the road goes and does something horrible with that firearm? And the answer is nothing. Nothing. There's nothing that even a background check could do to stop that. Either they're a criminal now or they're not. Either they're mentally unstable now or they're not. It doesn't stop future crimes from happening. It doesn't stop these mass shootings. Period. So what is this really all about? Because I truly believe that these people are not stupid. Universal background checks is just another way in the door, a little bit more control, okay? So what is this background check thing, this making sure that private sales get reported, what is this really about? Because it's not going to stop future crimes from happening. Well, I'll tell you what it's about. Piers Morgan even said it in his show last night. He said, don't you think that the federal government has the right to know who owns what? And that's what it really comes down to, doesn't it? It's not about guns. It's about control. It's about knowing what you have, how much of it you have, and when you bought it. Why do they need to know that information? It's a good question, isn't it? I think it's something we all need to think about. And this is definitely an argument we all need to be a part of. We need to make sure people understand that background checks, universal background checks, do not stop future crimes from happening. And we need to make sure that people understand it's not about the guns, it's about the control.